Hmm. Why is my music not playing? That ain't right. Why is my music not playing? Oh my god, I wish I was dead. How about now? I think it is. I think it is playing. All right. If I maximize Godot, does that show up? It does. Ooh, but if I play my application, it does not show up. Hmm. And if I launch Godot, what does this do? Doesn't look like it's doing anything. That doesn't do anything. Music attack. That doesn't do anything. Well, no one can see what's going on. But when I run this, nothing is happening. GD script launch project. I wonder if it's because I don't have. Yeah, I don't have. Current working directory is the Godot folder. Yes, that's not true anymore. So I think the current working directory is this. Additional SO. I don't think. Oop, nope. Workspace folder, workspace folder. We're no longer doing GD extension, so I don't need this. This is workspace folder. Okay. So now, if I launch, nothing's happening. Why is nothing happening? That is the real question. Wish I was dead. Wish I had all the tears in my head. Why do you not work like so? Ah, there we go. It's doing something. Oh, that's. Oh. That launched an entire application window. That's not what I want. Uh. Ah, there we go. Okay. So I want to show this off somehow. Hmm. How do I show this off? Let's add source, window capture, chat capture. Ooh, it's not showing up. Chat doesn't show up as a capture. I wonder why. If I do Windows, that's so weird. I just do I just do desktop? What do I do? Could show desktop. It's probably the easiest solution. All right, is it time to go to desktop? Boom. All right, we are on the desktop. So I need to disable standby. Source record is turned off. Source record is enabled. Oh, I might have already been recording desktop. Whoops. That's okay. I suppose that's okay. I suppose that is the nature of the beast. All right, so now I can do this. And we actually get cool. All right, so I think that is good. Is there a way to see? I think we're at a good spot here. Now I want to check audio levels. How is the audio chat? Hmm. All right, music is going while I talk. All right, I think we're good. I think we are good. Audio is good. All right. I will be right back because I need a drink. And a drink I shall have. I have returned, my fellow viewer. Hopefully, you were not left alone for too long. All right. All right, let's see here. Let's bring this in. Bringing in the mic, bringing up the mic. Let's get that really close like. All right. So I need to do some project planning. And to do that, I'm going to move my game, my tiny little game window right here. And get it in my backlog. And start planning. So I know I need... Actually, I can make some notes. Because it'll be easier for me to write this in Markdown to start with. Let's go ahead and save it. Project notes.markdown. What is today? 2026 April 17. Game design. Control Shift plus. Oops. I don't think I need this. All right. So I had to talk with my team today on where to go from our current progress, which is our little aircraft flying around, detecting tracks, and now we need to shoot those tracks down. And part of the issue is in order to shoot a track, we need to be able to target or select the track. And to do that, I need some kind of game interface to do that. So I am thinking that kind of like your stereotypical top-down RPG, you might have little character not icons, what do you call them? I don't even know what you call them. Character panels that show what is available in the track list. And we would print, or we would display that atop the display here. It's occurred to me that this isn't showing everything. There we go. There we go. Oh, hi, Cat. What are you doing? So some of the things we talked about was like, track list rendered as entity panels across the top. We talked about, to start with, infinite generic missile loadout. Selecting entity and hitting A button will launch on the target. Track list rendered as entity panels across the top. I just wish there was a better name for that. There probably is, and I'm just drawing a blank. What else did we talk about? So during an engagement, you're gonna fly around. You're gonna shoot. We need entities to fly in a non-pursuing manner. That way, we kind of keep things at range. Now, it's on the player to fly up to and engage, but then you're going to eventually hit some kind of missile flyout limitation where you're too close to fire your missile. While taking... Is it pot or pock? Is it pock shot? Pot shot? Pot shot. While taking pot shots at the player when able. That means we're going to need some kind of like missile launching system and behavior tree for an enemy to determine if it can fire upon a player based on that entity's capabilities. Are we starting this already? Hey, what are you doing? Come here. Come here. Drill. Come here. My cat is already scratching up the rug. Ridiculous. All right. So we need the entity to fly in a non-pursuing manner while taking pot shots at the player when able. We already have a missile in entity moving system to handle steering and moving an entity based on its stats. Missiles can use this in addition to pursuit maneuvers to track a player down. We need to calculate, what do we need? So when a missile is flying towards a player, technically we probably want the ability to not maybe outmaneuver a missile. So a missile should have detonation time. A missile can survive for X number of seconds or minutes before it explodes. Now, if a player gets within proximity of it, it would detonate then. You would get some kind of radial explosive damage, I think. We need to calculate a missile's detonation time. A missile will detonate after a specific time if no player proximity detected. What else we need? And this isn't just game design. This is like engagement game design. Scenario. For generic enemy aircraft that can fire generic missiles. One boss enemy that attempts to maneuver behind a player to launch an ion cannon kill shot. Four generic enemies fly in a pattern around the boss player. I think that's what I want to do. I'm not sure. So, oh, don't want notifications. Be gone. Be gone. What other notifications do I not want? What is this? Camera hub. Don't want to quit OBS. I think that's, let's quit battle.net. What's this one? AMD install manager. Why do I need that? All right, anyway. So, track list rendered as entity panels across the top. This one's going to be tough. Track list of active player. Oh, something happened. Active player rendered as empty panels across the top. Left/right bumper binding, controller bindings can toggle between selected track. A highlight border on the panels is rendered for the selected track. The cursor jumps. The cursor latches to the currently selected track. Latching a cursor to a track will make that track selected. So it can go either way. Selected, latched. I need to land on the right vocabulary here. I think we'll call it latched. Track list of active player rendered as name. Each entity will have a health total and bar to represent, and progress bar to represent the health. And rendered progress bar to represent the health. Highlight border on the panels is rendered for the selected track. The panel will display the track's symbol oriented north, I think. What else? What else? What else? Each entity will have a health total and rendered progress bar. Okay, so we have tracks. What are we dealing with here? Zoom in. So each entity will have tracks. You scan, you append to your track list. That shows up top. Left, right bumper will move this cursor around to whatever track is selected. I think we don't need waypoints for this initial engagement, I don't think. Well, waypoints would be nice so that the player can focus more on fighting. But for the initial engagement, I don't think we need it. So, what else do we need? So we populate our track list, or we have our track list. We can cycle through who we can target. We hit the A button based on who we have targeted. That creates a fire command. We need to calculate. We're gonna need like weapon definition. I don't know if we have that. Do we have that? So in our database, we have air bomber fighter. We have a missile type as a scene, not as a database type. Our database type, we have a vehicle air unknown, weapon air missile, which again, that's just the visual representation. So our types is visual. So we don't have our data defined yet for anything. So we're gonna need data defined. Okay. We are going to need data that defines weapon capability, such as damage? Damage type? What else? What else? Radial Radial proximity detonation. Is that the vocab I want to use here? Radial proximity detonation? Radial. So it's going to be like the missile's going to fly. And then it's going to get close to the aircraft. Once it gets within range, it's going to detonate. And based on how close the player is to that missile when it detonates, will determine how much damage is dealt. Now, if the missile detonates before it gets to the player, it might still do damage, but it might not hit the player at all, which is fine. This is more like, gosh, what do we even call this? Radio proximity detonation. Sensor fuse. Is it a fuse? Is it a weapon? Is it a missile fuse? What's a missile fuse? Missile fusing. Critical subsystem responsible for safely maintaining, aiming, and detonating weapons warhead at the optimal moment. That's what we want. So radio, let's see. Fuse radius. Maybe is what I want. Fuse radius? Well, I can't speak. Let's see here. I want to check. I'm gonna switch over to. Hey, what are you doing? Stop. If I can get my cat over here, I'll show him off. I gotta actually, like, get him over here. So the weapon fuse, we calculate damage, we apply that damage to the player. Oh, we have to handle entities dying. We need to handle entities dying. Do we show them blowing up? Does that need to be animated? Do I just make them disappear for now? Oh, I lost my music. Stand by. Refresh. I know why. Hmm. Does that work? Okay, I think that works. All right. Put that right there. All right. We need to handle entities dying. So Godot can handle an entity death animation. That's fine. So we can mark. So an entity could have state, right? We can say, hey, it's alive. Hey, it's dying. So during that dying state, we can have Godot kick off an animation for it to die. And then when that animation ends, we can signal for the entity to actually die. This might be entity state represented as alive, dying, dead. We could kick off animation of a dying entity during the dying state. Something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so you're playing the game, you're flying around, minding your own business. You enter this engagement. You pick up entities on your radar. They start firing what missiles at you. Do those missiles show up as targetable thingamabobs? Because they could show up as thingamabobs with their own health that you could shoot at technically. They might have a lot higher maneuverability and harder to hit, but at some point you might want to be like, hey, use a defensive ability to have the missile target your defensive ability instead. But do you need to target the missile to do that, or do you just use your defensive ability? I think you just use your defensive ability. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. Well, anything that shows up in the track list will show up, so maybe we'll leave it alone for now. That might get out of hand. Um, hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do about that one. Oh, I need to increase this. This radius needs to expand, and we need to move the entire situation display down. The situation display needs to be repositioned closer towards the bottom of the portal so more information can be seen ahead of the aircraft. What else? The compass needs to encompass more of the display. So I think this zooms in, and then this gets closer to the edge. So there's more of this that can be seen. Because eventually, I think what I want to do is basically put anything that's out there that your radar's picking up, even if you're not like actively engaged with it, maybe along the border of this, kind of like its own point of interest compass type thing. Or we expand our little compass up here to include those points of interest. I'm not sure which we want to do yet. What are you doing, dude? Come here. All right. I'll be right back. My cat is being a twerp like he always is. I have returned. Uh, all right. So the compass needs to encompass more of the display. We need to handle entities dying. This might be entity state represented as alive, dying, dead. We could kick off. Okay. So then that'll move that down. Is that all we need to start with? So we get into this engagement. We are also going to need, because we're not just firing missiles. we need to support additional weapon capabilities, such as a laser cannon, ion cannon, that fires directly from the front of an aircraft. This may require a different system to manage the state of the laser so that it can be rendered. Something like that, I think. I don't know. All right. So there's still a lot of work that needs to be done here. So I'm going to try and use AI to help me build a backlog. We'll see what it can do. Can you review the state of my Godot application? We want a plan. Wait, what? Oh, did I lose my... Well, we used to have a plan. Because I don't want this to do work. Did I lose the ability to do a plan? Curious. Aha, plan. Research and plan with the plan agent. Wonder why we lost a selection option. Review the current state of this Godot project and how it implements entities and systems. I want you to also look at project notes.md. Can you create a comprehensive backlog of GitHub issues in Markdown format along with acceptance criteria to accomplish the design and scenario found within the notes. Ask any clarifying questions you need to help solve this. Uh-oh. Took too long to get ready. Please ensure you are signed in. Ooh. Not signed in? Stand by. I might not be signed in. Budgets. I am well within my budget, so why is this not signed in? Signed in there. Says I'm signed in. But not available in restored chat. So let's try again, I guess. See what happens. All right. Created 6 to-dos. What are these to-dos? Read project notes, map entity architecture, map system architecture, identify design gaps, draft issue backlog, ask clarifying questions. Okay. So let's see what happens. Let's launch my game while this is going. All right, it is almost done. It's just gonna ask me some clarifying questions, I guess. Wait, it drafted the issue backlog and then it's gonna ask me questions? Suspicious. Very suspicious. Did not run Godot validation because this change only added documentation, not gameplay. So wait, what's going on? Why is it not asking? Oh. What? Okay, so what did it do? GitHub issue backlog. Holy moly. It created 14 issues. Cool. Cool. So let's take a look at what it thinks I need to do and see if I agree with it. All right, so gameplay backlog, inputs reviewed, current state reviewed, entity system architecture. So there's a data entity as an aggregate resource that always carries kinematic stats, type, engine, sensor, steering, track, weapons, maneuvers. Small entity stores all entities in a dictionary keyed by instance ID. Briarthorn creates and owns the global models and adds systems as child nodes. Yep, all this is true. System maneuver, system sensor detection, system track motion, sensor cursor motion. What is already implemented? A player entity is bootstrapped in Briarthorn with baseline movement, sensor, weapon, etc. Gaps versus the design notes. There is no explicit entity life state. That is true. Health pool, damage handling, or death pipeline. That is true. There is no system weapon fire is a stub, and weapon entities are just owned IDs. That is true. Missile behavior does not exist beyond storing missile-like entities in the player weapon list. Track creation exists, but track aging, loss, pruning, and selection state do not. That is fair. Cursor latch exists, but there's no separate selected track model and no bumper-based target cycling. That is true. Latching doesn't really exist because it doesn't work right now. I've still got to figure out what's going on with that. Enemies currently pursue the player directly instead of flying non-pursuit patterns and take opportunistic shots. There's no boss behavior, that's true. Okay, so assumptions used for this backlog. The current data-oriented architecture remains in Godot script and should be extended rather than replaced. The existing Dark Fighter art/shape is the likely starting point for the boss aircraft unless design says otherwise. True. The player missile requirement means effectively unlimited shots during the scenario, even if launchers still instantiate discrete missile entities at fire time. GitHub issues should be implementation ready and sequenced by dependency, not just grouped as broad themes. Proposed GitHub issues. Issue 1. Add combat state, health, and survivability data to entities. Add entity lifecycle management and track cleanup. Why? Once entities can die, the project needs a reliable way to retire them and clean up stale references from the model. That makes sense. Introduce selected track state and target cycling controls. Build the top of screen track panel strip. The notes call for active tracks to render as top panels with highlight state, north-oriented symbols, and health bars. The current track list only renders contact symbols and radar space. That is true. Create dedicated HUD control for active. Yep. Rework TSD layout and compass coverage. Yep. Add scenario bootstrap for the design note encounter. Current world scenario contains many generic enemies and one dark fighter placement, but it does not intentionally implement the requested scenario. That is true. Expand maneuver and AI behavior for non-pursuit enemy flight. That is true. Define weapon capability data and damage model inputs. That is true. Implement player weapon firing flow from selected target. Some of these tickets I think I already have in GitHub. So I want to take a look here. Weapon damage computer, weapon launch system. Okay. I might try and break these tickets down even further because I want my team to be able to contribute like 30 minutes of work at a time versus multiple hours of work at a time. We've all got other lives that we're living. Don't have all the time in the world. And I do want support where I can get it. I'm trying to make this project a team effort. The notes explicitly call for missile detonation timing and proximity-based detonation. The current project has no missile simulation beyond this type enum. Add enemy weapon employment and potshot logic. Implement boss attack behavior and ion cannon system. Okay. Recommended delivery order. Okay, perfect. Clarifying questions that will change scope or sequence. Oh, wait. it added the questions to the notes and didn't actually ask me the questions. Weird. Should I treat the player's infinite generic missile loadout as truly unlimited ammunition or as unlimited reserve, feeding a small ready rack on the SMS? Ooh. Do you want these to remain as roughly issue-sized tickets like this, or should I split them one level further into epics plus smaller implementation tasks? I do want them to be smaller implementation tasks. Should the boss be represented by the existing Darkfighter visual and data family, or do you want the backlog to reserve a separate boss-specific aircraft type and presentation pass? Okay. To answer the questions in the markdown, should I treat the player's infinite generic missile loadout as truly unlimited or as unlimited reserve, feeding a small ready rack on the SMS? Let's start with just truly unlimited for now. We will eventually want to use the SMIS, but it's not necessary at this moment. I want to break these tickets down into smaller implementation tasks. Should the boss be represented by the existing? Use the existing Darkfighter visual. Let's see what happens here. I'm used to it asking me clarifying questions inline, so I don't honestly know what's going on here. Maybe it's because I told it to put it all in a markdown file. I'm not sure. Generating patch 300 plus lines. Oh my god. I'm currently at 341. Oh, it's still going. Oh boy. I think once I get all these tickets done up, I might even try and have this just push all these tickets up to GitHub directly if I can. I'll let my team know, and then I might go cook me some breakfast for tomorrow. That is not programming related, so it's probably not worth streaming. All right, so what do we do here? I'm updating this passage to read the backlog file I just created so I can make a precise minimal edit rather than rewriting it blindly. The backlog has been decomposed into smaller tasks. Unresolved question selection section is gone. I'm doing one read back on the updated markdown so I can confirm. I verified the updated structure. The backlog now reads as an implementation queue instead of a feature outline, and your 3 scope decisions are now encoded. The main changes are that the backlog now assumes truly unlimited player missiles for this phase, explicitly use the existing Darkfighter visual. The document now runs as a finer grained queue, combat state data, durability mapping, life cycle cleanup, track selection, panel UI, scenario bootstrap, etc. I also removed the clarifying questions. Okay, let's take a look. So now we've got 32 tickets. Holy moly. Okay. Inputs reviewed. Do I have GitHub installed? I think I do. I do. Okay. Because if I do, I can have the AI push all these tickets up to my backlog so I don't have to do it myself. Stuff like this is insane. Because I'm having ran a team before and slowly working on building a new team. The amount of time it takes in a day for me to do all of this. Now, you'll still have to run it by the team to make sure everyone's on the same page and understands the context. But man, I guess I would still have to review all this because I do want to make sure that, you know, the tasks are coherent and doable. Okay, that's issue 2. Where's issue 1? Okay, add typed combat state data to entities. Extend entity data to represent current health, max health, and life state. Every combat capable entity has type data for max health, current health, and a life state with at least alive, dying, dead. Newly created, okay. Durable stat into survivability values. Define a stat map or formula that converts durability into starting health or resilience. Oh, I love it. I didn't even ask it to do this, but I actually do want this to happen. Holy crap. Add into life cycle transitions for alive, dying, and dead. I assume this needs to be a system. Once combat state data exists, the project needs a consistent transition path between active and destroyed entities. Dead entities transition out of active simulation through a single authoritative code path. Entities can remain in dying long enough for presentation logic to observe that state. Systems can skip non-active entities without custom per system rules. Clean up tracks, own references for removed entities. This one's going to be interesting. Because that means Godot nodes are going to need to be notified that the entity they are referencing died. Track lists do not keep orphan target IDs after an entity is removed. Weapon ownership lists do not keep IDs for entities that have been removed. Repeated spawn and destroy cycles do not grow stale references over time. Add selected track state to the player model. Make cursor latch update selected track. Add bumper based selected track cycling. Render north up symbols in each track panel. Render selection highlight and health in each track panel. Reposition the TSD lower in the portal layout. Expand compass and range ring coverage. Replace ad hoc world placement with scenario bootstrap data. Spawn 4 generic enemies in a formation around the player. Loading the primary gameplay scene creates the encounter from a scenario definition rather than hand-placed scene clutter. Oh. But I kind of want that. What do I do about that? Don't I want that? Replace ad hoc world placement with scenario bootstrap data. The current world scene contains many generic enemies and one dark fighter placement, but it does not intentionally implement the requested scenario. Replace or parameterize the current world setup so the encounter is created from the scenario data. Scenario setup can be adjusted without hand editing multiple scene instances. Well, yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, drag and drop is still fine. Spawn 4 generic enemies in a formation around the player. The scenario requires exactly 4. Spawn exactly 4 generic missile-capable enemies around the player. Use a predictable formation. Loading the primary gameplay scene creates 1 player, 4 generic enemy aircraft, and 1 boss enemy. What's the difference between issue 14 and 13? Might have to fix that. 13 and 14 might need fixed. Spawn the boss using the existing Darkfighter visual. Hmm. Spawn the boss using the existing Darkfighter visual. The scenario needs 1 boss enemy, and the chosen visual for this phase is the existing Darkfighter. Add a non-pursuit pattern maneuver for generic enemies. Enemy aircraft are currently configured for simple pursuit, which conflicts with the note that generic enemies should fly non-pursuit patterns while taking shots when able. Add AI state transitions between pattern flight and attack opportunity. This is going to be like behavior tree stuff. Define typed weapon capability data for missiles and ion cannon. Make firing systems consume weapon capability data. Replace placeholder player fire logic with selected target launch flow. Remove fixed ready missile ownership as a fire gate. The current bootstrap creates 4 owned missiles which conflict with the decision to use truly unlimited player ammunition. Spawn live missile entities on launch. Add missile guidance behavior on top of existing motion foundations. Add generic enemy weapon deployment rules. Keep generic enemies in pattern flight while taking pot shots. Add boss position behavior to get behind the player. Implement the ion cannon gameplay state and firing behavior. Apply damage from missile and ion cannon hits. Add dying dead presentation and removal behavior. Reflect the live damage and death state in HUD elements. Yep, that's true. Add scenario smoke test documentation and validation hooks. Plan features that adds interdependent systems without lightweight validation hooks, regressions, and selection tracking. Add script level or scene level validation for core scenario flows. Document the intended import run checks for the scenario. It's going to be much easier if we had a way to test in Godot. The repository includes at least 1 repeatable validation path for the scenario. Play until it looks right. So what was my issue? 13, 14, 15? 13, replace ad hoc world placement with scenario bootstrap. Spawn 4, spawn the boss. 13, 14, 15. For issues 13, 14, 15, let me stage these changes so I don't lose them in case I want to revert. I do want to define a scenario / engagement via the Godot editor and scenes. This acts as the source of truth, and entity.gd scripts will instantiate the necessary entities when the scenario is loaded. That being said, these T-scene scenarios only load the data and may provide debug visualization. The actual visualization will come from player radar capability / track list. Decisions. I need to find a way to show off this vertically. I don't know how to do it. Don't know where it would fit. Okay, so that got updated. So let's see what it says now. 13, 14, 15. Define the engagement scenario as an editor author scene. Scenario is a T-scene file edited in Godot editor. Nodes in the scenario scene carry GDScript components that call into the entity data layer. Create a scenario that replaces the ad hoc world placements. Establish the node structure naming conventions. Add a lightweight base entity script that registers a data entity on ready and optionally shows debug geometry in editor debug builds. Perfect. Author 4 generic enemy entities. Perfect. Okay, perfect. That's better. All right, I like this. All right. I have the GH tool installed on my system. Can you push these issues to GitHub directly and make the acceptance criteria checkboxes when you do? Right. I have the GH tool installed on my system. Can you push these issues to GitHub directly for this repo and make the acceptance criteria checkboxes when you do? If possible, also add dependencies to the tickets to the issues that require other issues to be completed first. If not possible, can you set a priority level for tickets that need created first? Let's see what happens. This would be cool. This would have been, gosh, this would have been multiple days of effort writing to get all this done if I did this myself. Many, many days of effort. That's a lot of writing. Mainly because I suck at writing. And I suck at writing because I don't like writing. And because I don't like writing, I don't seek to improve. Programming, on the other hand, I'm always seeking to improve. No existing issues, so the new ones will start at number 1. Uh-oh. That's not true. Oh no. Did I screw up? Where's it going to push my tickets to? This is going to get awkward really quick. Briarthorn. I had the wrong project open. 8 issues exist. Actually, many issues exist. Oh no. Oh no. Fun software, Briarthorn. Alright. Well, that's not true. Tickets do exist. Tickets do exist. I am worried. Let's refresh and see if it's actually creating tickets. Not yet. 37 closed. It's creating a file. It's writing a PowerShell script to disk first. Always a scary thought. It's thinking. It is thinking. Ooh, I guess while it's thinking, I'm going to go check on my cat because I left him out in the garage. I'll be right back. I just got back from vacation And so I made sure my home didn't have anything stocked up because I knew I was going to be gone. And now I don't have any like snacks. I have bread and I was going to make peanut butter toast. I don't have any peanut butter. Do you want to install the recommended PowerShell? No. Allow. Ooh, immediate failures. Immediate failures. Oh, because it's trying to do PWSH, but the PowerShell that comes with Windows is PowerShell. Is it also creating labels? Hmm. We'll see how that turns out. Could make a deal with God. Let's see if it's doing anything. Oh, it's creating tickets. Look at it go. Ticket creation go burr. Oh boy. So priority high, priority medium. I don't know what to do about that. I guess we can use it. Now my cat's hanging out. Trail, do you want to say hi? Hmm? You want to say hi? No? Okay. Could make a deal with God. Get on to slot by places. Still thinking. What is it creating now? All 32 created, but the repo had pre-existing issues, so they landed at 74 through 105. The dependency references inside each issue body still say the old placeholder numbers. I need to patch every affected issue. I will generate... Oh, wow. All right, let's see if it'll fix. Kind of cool if it does. So a low priority might have a dependency on a high priority. Depends on. There it goes. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, that's kind of cool. Now clean up the temporary scripts and do a quick spot check. Allow. What are you doing, Trill? Still haven't let me know if you want to say hi. No? Are you taking a bath? Okay. He's taking a bath. I'll leave him alone. All right, so we got a bunch of tickets created that I and my team can start knocking out to make this engagement scenario come true. So I think I will let them know. Actually, before I do that, I do want to maybe update the project. Okay, if I maximize this, what's this gonna look like? All right, good enough. Do I need to move me around? I will move me around. My vertical viewers, you're just gonna have to kind of put up with the view, I guess, because I don't know what to do. I don't know how to make it look nicer. Really, I just haven't put the time and effort into it. All right, let's close my application. Okay, so these are all the tickets that need to get done now. It's like, here's the priority tag. Is that not? How's that added? This doesn't really show up here, does it? Okay, what about labels? How do I look at what labels are attached? On your peace, falling on your knees. Oh, that's kind of cool. Ooh, roadmap. Hmm. I want to sort. I want to see the labels. Why can't I see labels? How do we do this? Linked pull requests, sub issue progress. I don't care about this. Hide. We're not really doing sprints or estimates. Hide. I don't care about start date. Add a field. Labels. How do I... Okay. Labels. I don't know if that translates to the rest of the team seeing it, unless I can save it. Oh, save view. Save to current view? Save to current view. Saving these display options will make it default for everyone. Yes. Yes, absolutely yes. Holy crap. Can I sort? Sort, ascending? No. Descending? Hey, there we go. No. That doesn't work either. Dang it. Filter by values? Uh, Priority? Can I do this? No, that's not what I want. I see what it's doing. That's not what I want. The problem with these priorities is they don't show up in the ticket. So how am I supposed to prioritize them? Somebody. Anybody. Nothing. No one's saying a word. A gosh darn word. Recent repository organization. I just want to prioritize. Priority is project specific, I guess. So I guess I'm going to have to manually do it. Okay. All right, so that's a 0. All right. Is there a way to do multiple? No. 0. 0. 0. 0. All right, so what do we have? High, medium, do we have low? We don't really have low, do we? Okay, so all these are high priority. So they all should be like priority 1. No, am I doing that wrong? I'm doing that wrong. This is high. See, this will all be saved if I could have just done this. That's high. Medium is priority 1. Priority 1. Oh, the life of a project manager. Priority 1. Are you entertained yet, my viewers? Are you not entertained? This is insane. Is there not a better way to do this? Having so much fun right now. You can't even begin to imagine how much fun I am having being a project manager for a game I'm making. I wonder if there's a way. I wonder if I could on stream show like a almost show the roadmap or something so we can track progress on how far this game has come and where it's going. So close. We're almost there. We got there. So what am I working on? Implement a storage management system. Ooh, that might have to change. Okay. All right. It's time to let my team know what I have done. All right. At everyone, check out the backlog. I used AI to help me generate a plan of attack for these issues. It should have included dependent tickets along with some acceptance criteria. I'm not 100% sure how well these issues were written, but at first glance, they seem okay. take a look at any high priority items and let me know if you want to knock one out. Also, let me know if you need a rundown on the code base and how to navigate it, and I can make some time for a show and tell. All right. So that should let the team know that they've got work they can do now. A lot of work. And this is just to get like a single engagement up and running in real time. Eventually, we might want to do turn-based, which means we're going to take this real-time logic and kind of wrap it in a turn-based shell. We'll see. We'll see. My suspicion is we're going to want to make this kind of a turn-based RPG-ish type of game. Would be my guess. Cool. All right. So I can move this back to here. I can move me back to here. I can launch my game for one last time. Actually, maybe I can fix the cursor latching, or try and fix the cursor latching, because right now it's still not behaving right. I don't need, what do I not need anymore? Copilot instructions, I want project notes, I don't need. GitHub issues, backlog, I don't need. I don't think I need any of this. Discard. Okay. So I think one of the issues I've been running into, let's see, does this cursor isn't latching, but it says latched with a negative. How big is that value? Negative 9 bajillion? Is that a floating point number? Can't tell. That seems excessively big for like 64-bit integer, that is. I wonder, nearest radar. What is nearest radar? 21, 21, 20. Distance. All right. Negative 15. Negative 1. What is that value? Negative 922,337. Really large negative number. All right. Still trying to get the cursor to latch to the track. Its latched field presents a negative 922 very large integer when the cursor is over a track, but the cursor does not move with the track. I wonder. I wonder if I need to make sure the latching system uses the cursor move command. The large negative integer is a valid Godot instance ID. They're 64-bit unsigned, so they appear negative when stored in GDScripts int. The bug is cursor target ID greater than 0 that check fails for negative IDs, so the following code never runs. Also update the codepilot instructions so this doesn't happen again. Hmm. Hmm. The Godot instance ID is a 64-bit unsigned. So it appears negative when stored in GDScripts signed integer. Oh. Wow. Okay. See if that does anything. I forget. Does Godot, do you have to reload? Yeah. Let's launch it again. Oops. Ooh, we're latched. Ladies and gentlemen. Now it's wrong, as you can see, but we are latched. That's awesome. Look at that. Okay. So it's latched. The problem is the cursor is a control node, so its position is in the top left corner, which you can kind of clearly see. So we need to get the latching to be at the center of the control node versus the top left corner. That's working. Now the issue is the cursor is a control node. So when it latches to a track, the track is not in the center of the cursor like I would expect. Instead, the track is in the top left corner of the cursor. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Come here. Hey. Just stop attacking my rug, you twerp. You're killing me. Center on the track, offset by half the cursor's own size. That's done in on cursor position. Now, the only issue with this is fine. I'm sure it's fine. But I wonder if Godot has a way to like change the origin of a node? Got a long list of X lovers. There we go. We now have cursor latching. Let's freaking go. It's way too far. Can we move the cursor debug information being rendered down and to the right of the cursor so I can better see it being latched? Let's stage our current changes because those are working. Okay, so now it's offset. Let's try this again. Okay, that's probably not good enough. Yeah, that's not good enough. All right, so what changed? So I'll just change it myself. 24 by 24. So let's do 48 by 48. There we go. That's better. Jealousy. All right, so we've latched onto that ID. Be forever. You're gonna be around to play. Its distance doesn't look right. Oh, it's distance from a track? Is that how that works? All right, let's pick up the speed. So it's like distance from that track. Is it also like distance from threshold of 50? Nearest radar. I don't know what that means. Oh, it it latched to the missile, which I'll be honest, I do not know why there's a missile there. I did not tell the game to create a missile. Oh my god, my cat is going insane, dude. Ugh, I swear. All right, this is cool. This is so cool. Okay, so distance 0, and then distance increases and then decreases once it gets here. They tell you I'm insane. That's so cool. Look at that. So this is how we will essentially fire on weapons. 237, 1877, 7157. Yeah, those are different IDs. So what happens if I... Yeah, there it goes. Okay. And eventually, we're probably going to have to deal with, like, groups of enemies being too close, because then who are you actually latching against? Kind of thing. This is awesome. This is awesome. Okay. Cool. I think that's really all I wanted to accomplish this evening. I didn't want to do too much. Still kind of recovering from vacation. So what all did I do here? I updated this to launch the Godot application, added some instructions to account for signage of our instance IDs, implemented a cursor script, which is fine for now. This doesn't have to be perfect. Latch threshold, which is on our data cursor. We have a system cursor motion, which every physics step was going to test against a player's track list. Okay. Implement cursor latching. Cool. All right, folks, for my silent watchers out there, I appreciate you stopping by. If you were one of my friends or family members, thank you. Hopefully you're able to somewhat follow along, even though I didn't really do too much. I was basically using AI to do the bulk of the work because I didn't feel like writing a bunch. But we did create a ton of tickets where once these tickets are complete, we should be really close to creating a level of a game. And then once that's up and running, I will hand this off to a couple of friends to try out and see if they find it even remotely fun at all. And we will go back to the drawing board from there. So until next time, thank you, and I will catch you later.